Okay, so how often do you use the internet?
Every day. Like 3-4 hours a day, probably.
So how do you access the internet? Do you do that on your phone or on a regular computer?
Mostly my phone. Sometimes on the computer at work.
Tisk tisk, using your computer at work. So do you believe that it's necessary for the internet to be censored by the government?
No. I don't think it's necessary. I think everyone should have the right to look up whatever they want, whenever they want, if they need to.
Even if it's like how to make napalm or...
I mean...
Because those are the kind of things that the government would definitely want to censor, like how to make napalm, how to make pipe bombs, how to infiltrate the government.
On that side of things, yeah, then, I don't know, I guess I'm kind of torn.
Do you think it's our right to be able to look up how to do those things?
I mean, I guess everyone can look it up if they want to, but I don't know why anyone would need to look up something like that. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you think that your lifestyle or your methods of information gathering would change if the internet were to be censored?
Yeah, pretty significantly. I pretty much, if I need to look up something, I pull out my phone and I look it up. So, I mean, yeah, if they censored it, that would definitely...
Do you think it would force you to go back to looking at things in books? Or do you think that you would just have less information because you can't immediately access it?
Well, I guess if it came down to it, then yeah, I'd obviously go look at a book if it was that important. But, yeah, it would definitely be hard to access information that quickly. Like, people can literally pull out their phone and in a few minutes have the answer to a question. That wasn't around anymore. Yeah.
So, have you heard of the acts that have been on the Hill recently, SOPA and PIPA and CISPA?
Yes.
How do you feel about those?
Not good.
Do you not like the acts, or do you...
Yeah, I think it's kind of silly to block off IP addresses or, you know, just because they think it's coming from like an unknown source or something. I feel like anybody should be able to access a website and access music, access media at their own free will.
Do you think that online piracy needs to be stopped?
I definitely feel like, you know, artists deserve to get recognition and, you know, compensation for the work they do, but at the same time, you know,
people don't want to spend the money.
Right. So, you know,
maybe that could be solved by lowering the prices.
That too, yeah, that too. I mean,
definitely bands usually gain all their money from live touring, right?
They more so than, say, going through like iTunes and having to drop $10 or $12 on a whole album.
Yeah, the people who
pull up a website, download it for free, and have access to it.
The people who gain those monies are usually corporations.
Yeah.
Who
it usually doesn't go directly to them anyway, so I feel like it's not necessarily supporting them.
Do you think companies should be allowed to collect information about you through the internet and then hand it over to the government if the government thinks that it's suspicious in the name of security?
I think that information is private, and if you want to post something online that's, you know, you don't want to have to be worried about, I guess, have your information out there, not have to be concerned that someone's going to be upset with it, look you up and think you're a terrorist or something. Yeah, I think that's a little extreme.
Back in January, Egypt was having all that turmoil, and they were doing protests, and they were sending out tweets, and they were sending out YouTube videos to show the world what was going on there, and then Egypt basically just shut down their entire internet. Do you think that America should have that ability? Do you think that any government should have that ability?
Absolutely not. Everyone should be able to access that information. Everyone should be able to know what's going on in the world and not be blocked off by your government because they don't want you to know something.
Okay.